If you're dealing with poor circulation in your legs, chances are you've already tried countless supplements with little to no improvement. I see this every single day in my clinical practice. The supplement market is overflowing with pills that promise everything and deliver almost nothing. And the most frustrating part? Most people are taking far more than they need, yet still missing what actually matters. Here's the truth most companies won't tell you. Your body doesn't need dozens of different vitamins for better circulation. It needs 3 very specific compounds in the right form and dose to help reopen constricted blood vessels and restore proper blood flow. These are the nutrients your legs are quite literally asking for right now. Before we go any further, let me ask you something important. Have you ever felt that cold, heavy sensation in your legs even while resting, as if circulation just isn't reaching where it should? That feeling is not random. It's a clear biological signal. Stop wasting money on generic multivitamin blends. They simply don't contain enough of the compounds required for vascular repair. For circulation support, most of those low-dose capsules are practically useless. You're not failing the supplements are failing you. Today, I'm going to cut through the confusion and show you the only 3 vitamins that truly matter for leg circulation, based on physiology, not marketing. I'll explain the exact form, the proper dosage, and how to use them correctly. And I want you to stay with me until the end, because the 3rd vitamin is a true game changer, but only if it's taken at a very specific time of day. Miss that timing, and its benefits drop dramatically. Let's start with vitamin number 1. Vitamin number 1, niacin, vitamin B3. The cleanup crew. This is the foundation. I call niacin the cleanup crew because it targets the 2 biggest enemies of healthy circulation: narrowed blood vessels and thick, sluggish blood. When vessels constrict and blood becomes sticky, flow slows down. That's when feet turn cold, legs feel heavy, and walking starts to feel harder than it should. Niacin tackles this problem head-on. But here's where most people get it wrong. The form matters a lot. You don't want the tiny amounts found in standard multivitamins. Those doses are designed only to prevent deficiency, not to improve circulation. For vascular benefits, you need a therapeutic dose, and you need the flushing form of niacin, also known as nicotinic acid. This is where many people get nervous. The flush, that temporary warmth, redness, or tingling isn't a side effect to fear. It's actually a sign that niacin is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, rapidly opening up capillaries and small blood vessels, increasing blood flow all the way to the skin and extremities. In clinical terms, that flush reflects active vasodilation. And when those tiny vessels open, circulation doesn't just improve on paper, you feel it. Warmth returns. That tight, constricted sensation eases. Blood finally starts moving the way it should. In the next part, I'll explain how much niacin to use, how to minimize discomfort, and who should be cautious before starting, because when used correctly, this vitamin can make a noticeable difference faster than most people expect. Now, there's something very important you need to avoid. You'll see many products labeled as non-flushing niacin, often sold as a inositol hexanocodenate. These versions are popular for one simple reason: they remove the flush. But here's the clinical reality. For meaningful improvements in circulation and lipid balance, they simply do not produce the same powerful, immediate vessel-widening effect. If your goal is dramatic improvement in blood flow, especially to the legs and feet, the flushing form is non-negotiable. The flush is not a flaw. It's part of the mechanism. And yes, that means accepting a temporary sensation in exchange for real physiological change. This is where safety and strategy matter. You must start slowly. Niacin is a powerful compound, and powerful tools require respect. Begin with 250 milligrams once daily, always taken with a meal. This reduces the intensity of the initial flush. After 2 weeks, if your body is tolerating it well, meaning the warmth and redness are noticeable but manageable, you may increase to 500 milligrams once daily. For many people, this becomes the optimal dose for circulation support. However, and I need to be very clear here, never increase your dose without first speaking to your physician, especially if you have liver conditions, metabolic disorders, or are taking other medications. Medical supervision matters. Let me explain the flush so you're not caught off guard. It usually feels like warmth, redness, or mild itching across the face, neck, and chest. This sensation typically lasts 15 to 30 minutes. One helpful tip: some people find that taking a non-aspirin anti-inflammatory about 30 minutes beforehand reduces the intensity, but in my experience, consistency is what truly helps. As your body adapts, the flush usually becomes milder within a few weeks. And let me ask you something important here. Have you ever felt warmth suddenly rush into your hands or feet after taking something and thought, "That's new"? That sensation is often blood flow returning to areas that have been undersupplied for a long time. So, why does niacin work so well for poor circulation? It has two direct mechanisms. First, it acts as a natural vasodilator. The flushing form triggers signaling molecules that tell the muscular walls of your arteries and arterioles to relax. In simple terms, your blood vessels widen. Think of upgrading from a narrow country road to a multi-lane highway. Blood moves faster, with less resistance, and reaches your extremities more efficiently. Second, niacin improves blood viscosity. It doesn't just widen the pipes, it changes the flow inside them. By reducing the stickiness of the blood, it allows circulation to move smoothly through those newly opened vessels. This lowers strain on the heart and improves oxygen delivery to tissues that desperately need it. And that combination, wider vessels and smoother flow, is exactly what struggling leg circulation requires. Less stickiness, more glide. This distinction is absolutely fundamental when we're talking about that heavy, sluggish sensation so many people feel in their legs with poor circulation. When blood flows more freely, pressure drops, oxygen delivery improves, and that constant feeling of weight and fatigue in the lower limbs begins to ease. So let's summarize clearly. Niacin vitamin B3 is the cleanup crew. It works internally to widen the pipes and reduce resistance, allowing blood to move the way it was always meant to. The key points matter. Always use the flushing form, respect the process, and follow the 250 mg to 500 mg routine, increasing only with medical guidance. But here's an important clinical reality. Even pipes that are wide and clean can still fail if they lose their flexibility. And that brings us to the next circulation game changer, what I call the flexibility fixer. Vitamin number 2, vitamin K2, specifically 7 Malawian kwaches. Think of a brand new rubber hose. It bends easily, adapts to pressure, and keeps flow smooth. Now imagine an old plastic pipe, stiff, brittle, prone to cracking, and resistant to flow. Over time, due to aging and modern dietary patterns, blood vessels can gradually resemble that brittle pipe. And this rigidity is one of the most overlooked killers of healthy circulation. Vitamin K2 is the compound that actively works to restore and preserve youthful vascular flexibility. Now, the form here is non-negotiable. You cannot substitute K1 for K2. The effective form is K2, menaquinone, 7, also known as 7 Malawian kwaches. Supplements must clearly state vitamin K2 7 Malawian kwaches on the label. While K1, abundant in leafy greens, plays an important role in blood clotting, it does not perform the same function in vessel walls. 7 Malawian kwaches is superior because of its long half-life, meaning it remains active in your bloodstream for many hours, working quietly throughout the day to protect your vessels. The effective dose ranges from 100 to 300 micrograms per day. And this is critical, micrograms, not milligrams. This is a small dose, but an extremely potent one. Always verify the unit on the label. K2 is naturally found in fermented foods, particularly natto, a traditional Japanese food made from fermented soybeans. Most people find it difficult to consume regularly, which is why supplementation is often the most practical and reliable approach. Since K2 is fat-soluble, it should always be taken with a meal that contains healthy fats for optimal absorption. Now here's where the science becomes truly fascinating. Vitamin K2 acts as a calcium traffic cop in your body. Calcium is essential, but only when it's in the right place. With age and dietary imbalance, calcium can begin depositing in soft tissues, including the walls of your arteries. When that happens, it's like pouring concrete into that rubber hose. Flexibility disappears. Stiffness sets in. Blood flow suffers. This process is known as arterial calcification, and it dramatically accelerates circulatory decline. And let me ask you something important here. Have you ever been told your arteries are a little stiff, or that your blood pressure is harder to control than it used to be? That stiffness is not just a number on a chart. It directly affects how well blood reaches your legs and feet. That's exactly why K2 plays such a critical role in restoring healthy circulation after 60. The K2 solution, activating matrix GLA protein, MGP. Here's where vitamin K2 truly proves its value. K2's primary job is to activate a crucial protective protein called matrix GLA protein, or MGP. Think of MGP as a network of microscopic biological vacuums. When K2 activates MGP, these vacuums are released into your bloodstream with a very specific mission. They actively seek out rogue calcium that has accumulated where it does not belong, inside the soft walls of your arteries. Once they bind to this misplaced calcium, they pull it out of the vessel walls and escort it safely away. That calcium is then redirected back to where it should be, your bones. The result is profound. Your arteries become softer, more elastic, and far more responsive to the demands placed on them by your heart. Better elasticity means improved pressure regulation and, most importantly, stronger, more consistent blood flow to your legs and feet. Let me pause here for a moment and ask you something important. Have you ever been told your arteries are calcified, or that your vessels look stiff on imaging tests? That stiffness isn't just a cardiovascular issue. It directly affects how well blood reaches your lower extremities. So, let's summarize clearly. Vitamin K27 Malawian Quatches is the flexibility fixer. It keeps your vessels supple and functional by removing hardening calcium deposits. The clinical dose is 100 to 300 micrograms of the long-lasting 7 Malawian Quatches formed daily, always taken with food. Now that we've cleaned the pipes and restored their flexibility, we need the final piece. The signal that tells those vessels to stay open and perform at their absolute best. This brings us to what I call the opening signal. Vitamin number 3. Vitamin C, the opening signal. We've addressed structure and flow. Now, we address the command center. Vitamin C is the essential building block required for your body to produce and maintain its most powerful natural vessel-relaxing molecule. Without adequate vitamin C, your system simply cannot generate enough of this signal to keep vessels open and responsive. Timing matters here, and it matters a lot. Everyone knows vitamin C, but very few people understand its critical role in vascular health, far beyond immune support. For circulation, the form makes all the difference. At higher doses, standard ascorbic acid can irritate the stomach. That's why I recommend either buffered vitamin C, combined with minerals like magnesium or calcium, or liposomal vitamin C, which is encapsulated in fat-based particles for superior absorption and excellent gut tolerance. This is the gold standard for vascular support. To truly fuel vessel relaxation, you need a meaningful dose. Aim for 1,000 milligrams, 1 gram, once or twice daily. This level ensures enough vitamin C is circulating to support your entire vascular network. Here's the key mechanism. Vitamin C is essential for protecting and stabilizing the endothelium, the delicate inner lining of your blood vessels. This lining is responsible for producing nitric oxide, the body's most powerful natural vasodilator, what I call the master relaxer. Nitric oxide tells vessel walls to relax and widen instantly, improving blood flow. Vitamin C not only supports nitric oxide production, it protects it from rapid breakdown, allowing the signal to last longer and work more effectively. Think of vitamin C as the high-octane fuel that keeps this opening signal strong and stable. And now we arrive at the most overlooked detail, the critical time of day strategy. This is the exact point where many people unknowingly sabotage the benefits, and in the next section, I'll explain precisely when to take vitamin C so it actually delivers the circulation results you're expecting. Take it in the morning and early afternoon. You must take your vitamin C dose in the morning, and if you're using a second dose, no later than mid-afternoon. This timing is not optional. It's strategic. Reason number 1. Stimulation and energy. For many people, especially at higher therapeutic doses, vitamin C has a mild stimulating effect. It can increase alertness and metabolic activity. Taking it too close to bedtime may interfere with sleep quality. And quality sleep is already a challenge for many seniors. We don't want to sabotage one of your most important recovery tools. Reason number 2, peak daily vascular demand. Your circulatory system needs nitric oxide support the most during the day, when you are upright, walking, standing, and placing real demands on blood flow to your legs and muscles. That's when vessel relaxation matters most. By front-loading vitamin C, you ensure maximum nitric oxide availability exactly when your body needs it. The rule is simple: 1,000 milligrams with breakfast, and if needed, a second 1,000 milligrams dose with lunch or an early afternoon snack. Avoid taking vitamin C after 5 p.m. Let me ask you something important here. Have you ever noticed that your legs feel heavier or colder as the day goes on, especially in the afternoon? That's not random. It's often a sign your vessels are struggling when demand is highest. Vitamin C summary and transition. Vitamin C is the opening signal. It is the vital fuel for nitric oxide, the master relaxer that widens your vessels on command. Use 1,000 milligrams of a buffered or liposomal form, once or twice daily, and always before evening. Now, when you combine these 3 compounds correctly, niacin, vitamin K2, and vitamin C, you create what I call the perfect circulation trinity. Each one does a different job, but together they restore flow in a way no single supplement can. Common myths and safety precautions. Now that you have the 3 golden keys, let's eliminate confusion and make sure you're using them safely and effectively. Myth: I take a multivitamin, so I'm covered. Here's the reality. Multivitamins are designed to prevent deficiency, not to deliver therapeutic results. A standard multivitamin may contain 20 milligrams of niacin. You need 250 to 500 milligrams. It may include 5 micrograms of vitamin K, often the wrong form, K1. You need 100 to 300 micrograms of K, 7 Malawian kwaches. And it might provide 60 milligrams of vitamin C, when circulation support requires 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams. The solution is clear. These 3 supplements must be taken individually in the correct forms and doses to create meaningful vascular change. Safety first, always. Niacin B3 is powerful. If you have liver conditions, diabetes, or take blood pressure or cholesterol medications, you must speak with your physician before using therapeutic doses. Monitoring may be necessary. Vitamin K2 directly affects clotting pathways. If you take blood thinners or anticoagulants, discussing K2 with your doctor is mandatory. Vitamin C is generally very safe, but high doses can upset digestion in some people. Buffered or liposomal forms and adequate hydration usually solve this. Real-world expectations. You are not chasing a miracle pill. You are supporting your body's natural systems intelligently. In the first 7 days, your main goals are consistency and tolerance. You'll notice the niacin flush, mild warmth in your skin, and possibly subtle improvements in leg comfort. That's the system waking up. And in the next section, I'll walk you through what changes to expect week by week, so you know exactly how to measure progress, and how to know this is truly working for your circulation. Midterm response, weeks 2 to 6. This is where the changes start to become noticeable and consistent. The vessel widening effect stabilizes. Your legs feel lighter at the end of the day. That tight, pressured sensation eases. This is the niacin and vitamin C synergy fully taking hold. Many people begin to notice a healthier color returning to the skin of their feet and lower legs, along with a more stable warmth instead of that cold, pale look that signals poor flow. Let me ask you something important at this point. By the end of the day, do your legs usually feel heavier than they did in the morning? That pattern is one of the clearest signs that circulation support is finally starting to work when it disappears. Long-term response. Month 3 and beyond. This is where vitamin K2 truly shines. As calcium is gradually removed from arterial walls, stiffness fades. Your circulation becomes more resilient, less reactive to stress, temperature changes, or long periods of sitting. Blood returns to the heart more efficiently. This is when improvements stop being temporary and become your new baseline. The power of consistency. These are not medications. They are nutritional repair tools. They work by restoring function, and that takes time. Skipping days breaks momentum, especially with K2, which requires consistent presence in the bloodstream. Create a ritual. Same time. Same routine. Every day. Final summary, the grand recap. You now have a clear, actionable plan. No more wasted money on low-dose blends. These are the three circulation powerhouses. Niacin, B3, flushing form, the cleanup crew. Instantly widens vessels. Dosage, 250 to 500 milligrams. Expect the flush. A vitamin K2 -7 Malawian kwaches, the flexibility fixer. Removes hardening calcium from artery walls. Dosage, 100 to 300 micrograms. Consult your doctor if on blood thinners. Of vitamin C, buffered or liposomal, the opening signal. Fuels nitric oxide. Dosage, 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams, always before 5 p.m. Your next step. Commit to 90 days. That's all it takes to feel the coordinated power of these three nutrients working together. Lighter legs, warmer feet, more energy, better quality of life. And remember, circulation isn't about age. It's about giving your body what it's been missing.